I'm Councillor Pam McConnell, along with my colleague, Councillor Vaughan, and we have for you the police representative, George Tucker, who will give us the information as to how this worldwide event will affect our neighborhoods, our homes, our children, and how we will be able to manage to try and do what we really want to do, which is to go about our business. That's really what we're trying to look at through the police and through the city staff, to ensure that not only are we able to have a safe and a peaceful summit, but also that we are able to mitigate any of the extra stresses that are on our community. So tonight there'll be lots of opportunity for you to ask questions. We'd ask that this is a question about how we are going to be able to handle this in our community. I have a great deal of good feeling that our communities are able very much to adapt and to be flexible and to be calm. But we are also communities that need to have information, that need to be kept in the loop. There will be some things, of course, that are security things that we are unable to get all of the answers for, because the minute that the answer comes, they have to change it. And so I think that, but we will be able to give you wide parameters about what is going to happen. And the main focus really of the lockdown and really will be in and around the convention center itself, and George will explain that. But for any of us who are living and working in this area, there are ways that we will be able to go about our business. So with that, I'd like to pass it over to Adam Vaughan, and thank Adam's staff as well, who have really been very active in putting this together. And I hope that we will have a productive discussion, and that you will go away feeling a lot more in the loop, with a lot more information, and that you will share that information in your condos, through your businesses, and in your neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor McConnell. My name is Adam Vaughan, and welcome to Ward 20 for those of you who are coming from other neighborhoods to the east and the west of us. I would like to acknowledge that there are city staff in the room tonight who will be taking notes and highlighting the concerns that are raised from transportation, from economic development, and from strategic communications. I also, as you're aware, there are a lot of television cameras here. This event is being broadcast live on Rogers Television in order to communicate to a wider audience that might not be able to be in the room tonight. The afternoon session that was held, which had just about as big a turnout, if not more, focused on the critical issues around getting to and from work, to and from home, and how safety will be sort of managed as this event comes into the neighborhood. But there are other issues that emerge, and we encourage you during the question and answer period to bring those issues forward to the microphones. And if we can't get you specific answers tonight, please approach us after the meeting, where we can get your contact information and forward that information to you directly. We also have seen that there are sectors that have been identified as being impacted that hadn't been considered so far. For example, the daycare community in this downtown vicinity. We'll be holding follow-up meetings with different sectors and different groups as more information becomes available. But as Councillor McConnell said, this is very much sort of a creative process in some regards, in terms of the security requirements change on a frequent basis, and you'll hear that in the presentation tonight, that there is a general amount of information that can be delivered at this time. It'll become more specific as we get closer to the event, and please bear with us as we all try to manage not just the distribution of sensitive information and information that pertains to security, but also there are other agencies that have requirements and needs, and we'll explore those with the presentation tonight. I would also like to thank the BIA. Janice Solomon, who's here, who is the BIA leader for the Entertainment District, has worked very hard with area businesses, and if there are businesses with specific requirements for information, and you'll understand what that means as we roll out. Janice is here in the front row, as is her staff, and businesses should connect through the BIA, as they have a strong liaison with the police services and the integrated security unit that is managing this event. And with that, I'll pass it across to Constable George Tucker, who's in charge.
Thank you very much, Chancellor. If you don't mind, I'm going to stand.
No, that'd be fine.
And Jennifer, could I ask for your help again? Thank you so much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to start off just with a couple of thanks. First and foremost, thank you very much to both Councillor Adam Vaughan and Councillor Pam McConnell for the gracious invitation to be here today to address you. And as Adam Vaughan already stated, Janice Solomon here from the Entertainment BIA, the chair, has been very, very instrumental and helpful to the G20 planning group in trying to take care and mitigate some of the concerns down here in this area that's going to be affected. So thank you very much, Janice. And last but not least, my unit commander of the Community Relations Group, Inspector Greg Cole, is somewhere out there. And I see in the audience we have Ms. Olivia Chow, your representative of the Canadian government, present in the crowd. Good evening to you. I'm George Tucker. I'm from the Toronto Police Service and have been a police officer downtown here in 52 Division mostly for approximately 30 years. So I can say I also live in Toronto, resident of Toronto, so I understand what goes on down here, how you feel. And just after tonight, I hope I can alleviate some of your concerns and questions and have you sleep a little better in the evening. First off, if I could just switch. Thanks, Jennifer. First off, just a very quick overview. There are two summits actually taking place at the end of June. On the Friday, June 25th and Saturday, June 26th in Huntsville is actually the G8 summit. That is the summit of the, shall we say, highest level of it, what are called internationally protected people. Those are the heads of state, your prime ministers, your presidents, etc. That's taking place, as I said, on the Friday and the Saturday. On the Saturday and the Sunday, the 26th and 27th of June, is the G8, or I should say the G20 summit that is taking place right downtown here in Toronto at the Metro Toronto Convention Centre. The G20 is generally comprised of your bank governors and your finance ministers. Some of those people are termed internationally protected, some are not. Come the Saturday, the G8 in Huntsville will end, and the leaders up there will come down to Toronto here to the Convention Centre, and they will join up with the G20 summit that will be in progress. You can see here from the history what the G20 and the G8 is, and that's what's taking place here. If I could bother you to change that. Now, what are we? There's two things I make to differentiate for you. There is a group from the federal government in town called the Summit Management Office. These are the people I call the choreographers. They're the ones that hold the summit. They announce where it's going to be held, and they do all the logistical work involving the media, setting up the sites, etc., etc. Who we are, the Integrated Security Unit, is the group that's comprised and required to provide the security to those internationally protected people. However, we also provide security to the businesses, to the residents of Toronto, and also to the demonstrators and protesters that will be attending this event. The Integrated Security Unit is led by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. They are the lead agency when it comes to these international affairs. As you well know, they're the federal police, and they're governed by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police Act, which is a federal statute, and they also are empowered by other statutes that the federal government signs on to with the United Nations in regards to holding these summits and in regards to protecting these internationally protected people that will come to town. I always say if, the world did change, unfortunately, on 9/11, and if it wasn't for some of the elements in our society, the security units would not have to be here in the presence that they are going to be here at. Got a body to switch that? I'm part of what's called a community relations group that is a subcomponent of that integrated security unit. Our job, and we've been out there and active, working very closely with people such as Janice, we're trying to reach out in our community and have been doing so since about November of last year. And we are a resource for anyone that has questions or concerns. At the end of this, I'll provide you with an email address as well as a 1-800 number that if you have any questions or concerns, please contact us and we will provide answers back to you within 1 to 2 days. Right now, we're responding within 24 hours. It may include up to 48, depending on the volume of calls as the summit approaches. I will provide that at the end of this.